Welcome back to All Up in Your Wreath Business. You everybody. My name is Falon Lou. I'm your host. And we have Miss Jacki Blewett on with Jacki's Recent Things, you guys. I'm super excited to have her. And thank you again for coming to the show. As you guys come in. Yes, as you guys come in the hello and give you a warm welcome in the comment section. If you have any questions, as always, we will get to those towards the end of the broadcast. So I'm super excited to get into some of your Wreath business today, Miss Jacki. I hope you're ready.
There's a lot.
It's a lot. So you have been in the business for quite some time.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about, like, before you got started making wreaths, what were your first wreaths, and then how you pivoted into making it a business?
Well, so it was years ago when I saw my first mesh wreath. I was actually at a flea market, one of those Trader Mall places. And I mean, it was years ago. I was like 20 years old when I saw this. Oh, wow. And the lady, and I just wanted to look at it. That's all I wanted to do. And she yelled at me, "Don't touch it." And I'm like, well, if I can't touch it, I can't buy it. So I just kind of, walked off from that. But she had very large, I would say like big 16-inch, huge poofs. And I just kind of got fascinated with it, from there. But it wasn't something that I did till, later on. Later on, it kind of became a hobby. I was giving it, for gifts. And then tragedy had struck with my ex-husband's niece. She was diagnosed with brain cancer, so people had asked me to make them to donate for fundraisers and stuff like that. So I did. And then tragedy struck me, and that
keep going.
And that I had to have back surgery. And at that point in time, I was selling cars. But when you sell cars, you work on commission, and if you're not at work, you're not making money. So that's when I kind of, started a little bit then just to supplement. But it was my second back surgery. My first back surgery I was prepared for. My second back surgery I absolutely was not. And I wasn't prepared for the amount of time that I was going to be off work, because it was, a whole lot longer. And the money was dwindling down. And I still hadn't really applied myself to, making wreath making into a business until 2012. And a friend of mine gave me $100. And with that $100, that's all that, she could give me. She wanted to help me. So I took that $100 and I went to Hobby Lobby and I got some wreath supplies, and it kind of just, it really took off from there, because I knew that I could take that $100 and I could make more from it and continually be able to pay my bills while I was off work.
Yeah.
So after that, I'm working at the dealership, making wreaths, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it's life changed again. And then moving forward, my grandfather, I brought him home to pass. And in the 4 days that I brought him home to pass, somehow I lost my job. I was all confused about this, but I got fired from my job because I brought my granddad home to pass.
Oh, wow.
And instead of going to look for a new job, I've realized that the past year, in doing my taxes, which it's really not much money. But when you are presented with a house that's paid for, because I inherited the house, and I didn't have any bills, other than electricity, whatnot. And I had made $60,000 the previous year in just making wreaths alone. Wow. I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
So instead of going to look for another job, I realized that, I had a job, making wreaths. So, at first my daughter, she heard a lot of, no, we can't afford right now. Because, as I got started, because I was, basically a two income, house. But, moving forward, I just kept on going to point that I basically sell anywhere from 700 to 800 wreaths a year.
Wow. That is a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Wow. You've been super successful in that. So, $60,000. Woo, girl.
I know, I never really realized it, but like I'm at my full-time job, and I was, just fortunate because, when I didn't have a customer, I'm trying to get customers there at the dealership, and then I'm waiting on customers with my Wreath business. I'm like the multitasker at its finest.
Yeah.
And, I was really, really blessed when I first started really applying myself to make it a business. Of course, it was part-time. I had a Wreath go viral. It went absolutely viral. And we're talking about a time when most wreath makers maybe had 500 to maybe 2,000 likes. It was unheard of for wreath makers to have very large audiences. I had 25,000 likes on my page.
Right.
Because a wreath went viral, and people were always like, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? And I'm just sitting there going, I don't know. I look at this wreath to this day, because I've grown so much in my business. I look at this wreath to this day, and I'm like, I don't know what they liked about it, but they did. So, it is what it is.
It's a blessing. That's a blessing. So, so how did you start teaching? Because I know you have your own group. And so how many years, though? Let me go back. How many years have you been doing this? Like, since you're
The teaching?
Yeah. Well, just making wreaths, just creating.
I have been doing it for about 14 years now.
Because that's what I thought. Because you're like one of the pioneers, so to say, since we started, like one of the community. Right. That's what I thought. Yeah. I'm not a pioneer. So I'm trying to catch up.
I'm one of the old school people.
Yes, you're an OG. Okay. All right. So that's what I was saying. I was like, I know she's been one of the people that first started. So were you a part of like the first, so to say, in the Wreath community to start teaching and opening up a design group? Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. I thought so.
When I opened up my teaching group, it was before they were even accepted. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of people that have Wreath groups now that made fun of us.
Yeah.
They criticized us for opening up groups and whatnot. And it's turned into something.
Yeah. Yeah. It really has helped a lot of people. I think it's best because you can get a whole entire group then versus one-on-one teach this. Because you get a lot of questions, like you say, you get flooded with how did you create this? Can you show me how to make? So I think it's better as far as that aspect. So tell us a little bit more about your group and the things that you have available there. Like, what do you all do inside of Jacki's Wreaths and things?
So, I guess you can say that as far as what I do, everything that I do is really totally different than what any other group does. And I guess the best way to explain it is I want you to become famous for your wreath.
Right.
Within what we do, everybody recognizes a Jacki wreath or, somebody else's. Those of us that are elitists up here and, have an established reputation, you recognize, and then it goes even further that we can recognize who learned from who.
Right.
Okay. And that's not what I want for my people. What I want for my people is that people will sit there and say, that's a Pallon wreath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in the same way that they recognize Mackenzie Childs, things like that. This is kind of where people misunderstand me when I say that I don't condone copying. Because I want you to be your best you. That if everybody loved my wreath, I would have the market cornered. Yeah. And I would have a manufacturing facility for just my wreath alone. If everybody loved my wreath, there would be one on every door of America. And the fact of the matter is that, somebody's waiting for your wreath. And that's what I try to do, with my group and with my people is turn them into their best selves and their best designers and get them to look differently at the materials in front of them and the possibilities that they can do with it. And that's why when I teach, I focus on teaching how to use your tools and how to get the best out of them, the things that mesh can do. It's kind of like going to a real design school. Because when you go to a real design school, you go to a real art school, the art teacher, because I've been to these schools, the art teacher doesn't say you need to stroke your brush this way,
right,
to make it, because that's how they do things. But they will teach you what the chalk will do and what the paintbrush will do to get this effect and that effect. And just like, even with fabrics, the fabrics will stretch this way and that way. And these are the things that you actually learn in a design school, whether it be art, fabrics, or whatever. And then you become a designer. So that's kind of how my group works.
Yeah. That's really good. That's really good because you have to be able to, brand yourself. That's really important. And you're absolutely right about that.
And that's one of the reasons that I teach sewing versus no sew, because I'm bringing another actual tool in that you can do so much more with, like make your own curtains, make your own pillowcases, things like that around your home. Because I believe, like, when you're designing, you're going for the full Monty of what nobody else can buy. Right. That's what I want. Like for my Christmas tree, I design my own Christmas ornaments and things like that, because to have true originality, you have to be able to make it all yourself.
Right. It is true. So those are some wonderful tools to have in your toolbox there. So, so what's the name of your group? Is it
Inside Jacki's Design Studio?
Okay, love that.
Because I have a studio, basically, it does different things.
Yeah.
I've done woodworking. One of the most biggest things that I've done with my group, and one of the things I actually became famous for is the peppermint stands, and they were made out of wood.
Oh, okay.
They were 6 feet tall. It's still the most pin on Pinterest to this day. Millions of people have seen it. So it's funny that a wreath maker got famous for wood stuff.
That is amazing. Wow. Okay. So every episode, y'all, I learned so much. Thank you so much for coming. I learned so much, and I feel like the community has so many different aspects, so many different designers, and you guys are just really awesome. Like, you have an incredible story, and we've all kind of been there, but to be able to, kind of be able to go and make your business full time and rely on your talent when something falls through, because it doesn't matter if you've been on your job for 20 years. If someone decides one day, hey, it's now come back, to be able
but the
to
thing
have
is,
something else, that is awesome. Yeah.
The thing is that when you make that step, it didn't matter. When I made that step, it didn't matter if anybody else believed it. I had to believe in myself that I was capable of it. And because if I didn't believe in myself, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah. And it won't. It doesn't matter how much somebody believes in yourself, because it believes in you. You have to believe in yourself, because that's where the determination, that's where the drive comes from, is believing in yourself and not wanting to fail yourself.
That's right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. So that one of my questions was, what is the favorite thing that you love about the Wreath community as a whole?
The colors.
Yeah.
The colors, the talent, and friendships. Yes. Over the years, I've had people come and go out of my life, and I want to say that we use the word friend a little too strong. I have had acquaintances. I've had people coming in and out of my life. I have been judged for what people have said were friendships. But look, okay, we're grown people. People are going to come in and out of our lives. Okay, that does not mean that one person's bad guy, one person's good guy. Right. Or, so forth and so on. It just means that my business went that way, their business went this way, whatever, and the two just, don't meet. Does that mean that we don't get along? No, it doesn't. No. Right. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that at all. But, thinking that we have to be friends, we can all be acquaintances. We can all be appreciative. We can all be, just respectful of our talents and what we bring to the table. Yeah. I've
had a great experience with the Wreath community so far. So I really love how everyone, encourages everyone and celebrates one another, and just looks, and we love to see each other's work, how they go. So that's absolutely true. Like, just to see, like you say, the different color combinations, all these different things, it's just exciting. It's just exciting. So tell us something that you have coming up for Jacki's recent things.
Well, like I told you earlier, I just had a huge launch for a product that solves a lot of problems within our industry, whether you're a crafter or a designer. So I just did that, and it's called the More Room on Top, and it solves the problem of all your cups and things like that. I mean, so you can clear off your workspace, because there ain't nothing worse than working on a wreath and you wipe your tools out by, knocking them off the table. Yeah, I've done that a time or two, which is the whole reason on the front of my table I have a board to stop stuff from flying off.
Oh, okay.
So, that way it doesn't go over. So I've done that a time or two, and I've watched people knock their cups over and, pick up their tools. So this kind of solves this problem. I also am going to be doing a farewell event next year. Okay. Am I retiring? No, I'm not. A few months ago, I was diagnosed with Sjogren's. Sjogren's is a rare autoimmune disorder. I already was diagnosed with lupus when I was 37. Okay. And fast forward, so now I've got another autoimmune disorder, and just, I traveled for so many years, meeting people and doing events and, wreath things. And with the pandemic, that kind of came to a stop. And with my health now, I can't travel as much. So I just kind of wanted to do one more in-person event. So that's what I'm going to be doing, next year. I have a lot of support from friends and family to be able to get that done as well.
Okay. So that'll be super nice. So you guys definitely show up for that. It's going to be your last time having it in person, but you are still going to be teaching virtual and online.
I will always be teaching virtual online. I'm just, with this diagnosis, it kind of, brought home more, what do I want my legacy to be?
Definitely.
And I want, I kind of just, really, really thought about that, because, and I don't want, people already know my name. But as a teacher, what I want my legacy to be, especially when it comes to business coaching, because, I do the business coaching, and my business coaching is different. It's one-on-one. And I've actually traveled to go see my clients. They're not students, they're clients. Okay. They have businesses and they're just kind of stuck. And I've gone, to help them. And what I, decided I want my legacy to be is that people remember your name, not mine.
Yeah.
And that's because, it's kind of what I've decided. I did a lot of and I've helped a lot of people. A lot of these people are really successful right now. And, so, even though it seems like I'm in the foreground, I operate better in the background. Mm-hmm. I'm using my skills, because I can't, all the ideas that I have bubbling out of my head, I can't, keep making these products.
Right.
So now I'm taking these products, I'm giving these ideas to people to make money. And there's a lot of people doing that right now with my ideas. A lot of people don't know they're my ideas. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah. So you have a really good blueprint as far as your business. A different way of doing things. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Well, the thing is that, if you really look at what designing really is, and if you really think about it, you can think about some of our, most famous designers, Guess Jeans, whatever. The teacher's not the one that's famous. It's the student. And that's what I really decided that I really, really want. I want my students to be the ones that become famous.
Yeah. That's cool. So that would be like a true definition of a coach, though. That's true. So you guys can check her out. Tell us all the places where they can check you out, as far as your Facebook, Pinterest, and your website.
I am on Pinterest, and I am very well branded under Jacki's Recent Things or Jacki's Wreaths. Okay. You can find me on TikTok. Every now and then I get on there. If you want to see me dancing stupid, I'm on TikTok because I do. Yeah. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Pinterest. You can find me on Instagram. Now, do I work my social media like you're supposed to? No, I don't. I am the business coach that will tell you, do as I say, not as I do. Because I mean, I'll be honest, okay? And a lot of people have to be honest with themselves and what they're capable of doing. Am I capable of keeping up a $1 million pace? Not because I'm not, but not because I'm lazy. I'm the furthest thing from lazy, but because my health just, won't permit it. But am I capable of running an extremely successful business within my capabilities? Yeah, I still run a, well over 6-figure business to this day. With my health and adversities that I overcome.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what is something that you give like a new wreath maker, someone started out, like the best piece of advice you can give someone starting?
There's actually a lot of advice that I would give people starting out. Number one, and there's like 3 of them. Number one, ask questions. I see a lot of people starting groups and they'll just jump in because they like how they make a wreath. But they don't ask people how many wreaths you've sold. They act like they don't. You need to know, if all you want to do is sell a wreath, you need to know how many wreaths they've sold. It goes to the credibility of what you are learning. Okay.
Right.
Anybody can jump on Facebook. Anybody can open a group, but that doesn't mean that they are qualified to teach you what to do with your supplies, things like that. And the other advice, that I would give is you have to have, in order to run a successful business, you have to have drive, you have to have determination, and you also have to have a thirst for knowledge. Because you have to be willing to learn. You can't, it's kind of like, you can't want to rule the world with a glue gun. You have to realize that there is other tools that are available and to make you better at what you do, to give you a better quality product. I kind of look at it like this. If you could rule the world with a glue gun, my clothes would be made out of, glue. Why is anybody going to take the time to sell? Cars would be, you have to broaden your horizons. To be an amazing, person, an amazing crafter, you have to keep learning to be a better person. You have to keep learning to be a better crafter. And through that, even to be a better person, you have to get more tools in your tool belt on how to treat people. You have to get more tools in your tool belt on how to do things. But through learning, you have to want to read and you have to want to ask questions. That, those that are really intelligent people is because they ask a lot of questions. That's one thing that people don't like about me. They're like, you ask a lot of questions. Well, it's because I want to learn.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I want to learn, what's going on. So, I can't, realizing that failure does not mean it's not meant to be. It's like, people think they'll test God with this. There's, a lot of people said, well, I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. Okay. God didn't tell us that he was going to hand us everything on this pretty little platter.
No.
Okay. Because if you plan on eating tomorrow, you're going to have to go fishing every day.
That's right.
Because fish spoils. You have to keep going. You have to keep working. And just because you didn't catch fish today doesn't mean you won't catch fish tomorrow. That's okay. Right. But are you going to let yourself starve to death because you didn't catch a fish today? I mean, no, you're not. Walt Disney himself, and this is my favorite thing to inspire people because it is the biggest, most well-known, fun place to be on earth. Walt Disney himself filed bankruptcy. Started building up his business, but he didn't give up. He didn't give up because, he failed. He failed, filed bankruptcy. We're talking about an extreme failure because he wanted it bad enough.
Right.
Okay. We all want money, but that doesn't mean that we are all meant to be business owners, because business owners, it is a sacrifice that people wouldn't believe. It's not a 9-to-5 job. Far from it. People think just because we're business owners that, it stopped. No, it's longer, more in-depth hours. And it just, doesn't stop. It almost feels like it's a 24/7 job, especially because of the internet. The internet doesn't shut down, and it's just, never ending.
Yeah.
But just because you fail, you have to learn how to fail. You have to fail to succeed. You have to fail to be driven. Excuse me. It's like wanting to, win a race. If you want to win the race bad enough, you're going to keep practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing so that you can win.
Yeah. That's great advice. That was really some great advice. I appreciate you coming on. You guys make sure to check her out on Pinterest and Facebook and TikTok. I love TikTok.
And don't forget, you and I have an event coming up together.
Oh yes, absolutely. So we're gonna be
Scissor Tales Crafters Connection.
Yes.
That is coming up in 21 days now.
Yes, super fast.
And it's actually amazing. So a lot of people, I don't think, know that they realize that this was an in-person event. And for a few years, and she decided to do it online this year, which I think is great. And a lot of people wanted online events, things like that. The best part is every bit of the proceeds goes to charity. Over the course of 2 days, you get 21, and I mean amazing designers over the course of the 2 days. You're providing a meal for children, entertainment for children, and gifts for children at Christmas. With the cost of your ticket. And I mean, you go to in-person events and you don't get 21 designers. So online, from the comfort of your home, in your PJs, you can hang out with us while we're having to get dressed up and look all nice. You can hang out in your PJs and watch us create.
Yes, you guys. There's a lot of different designers, 21 designers. The tickets are $50 each, and I have posted on my page, but I'll be sure to post it after this broadcast again. But you also can go to Scissor Tales Crafters Connection. They have a Facebook page as well. So check that out. It'll be me, Jacki, Lisa Kellum, who was on last week. She'll be a designer. Just lots and lots and
There's
lots of designers.
Justin Krause, Leah McIntosh, Lisa Kellum, Jessica Smith.
Yes.
There's wow, there's a lot of people that are going to be in it. 21 names is kind of hard to remember off the top of your head.
It's a lot. It's a 2-day event, you guys. So each designer will get an hour, and then they'll auction everything out towards the end of it. So be sure to check that out. Yes, Miss Tisha. That's why I was like, Tisha, she's on the line. She said, me. Yes, she'll be one of our designers.
Yeah, Tisha.
So lots and lots and lots of.
Kelly Smith, Sean Bianchi,
Dustin Gibson.
I'm telling you, the only reason that Tisha's watching, she's hoping to catch a glimpse of my Buster. That's her guy.
She wants to see Buster. He is so cute. He is so cute. Yes, Rhonda with Rhonda Williams. She's
Rhonda Williams.
Also. So you guys, just an awesome event. You cannot beat that. All the talent, like you say, virtual event.
It's a lot of amazing designers. Truly, it is. It's a lot of amazing designers. And the thing is just because you people don't know them doesn't mean they're not amazing. These are amazing people. They are amazing designers. They all bring wonderful things to the table, to this event.
Yeah. So it's going to be super fun. So you guys be sure to come on and join us there. I know a couple of people have already joined us. Y'all better jump on and join us. We're getting close. So I will post the information again. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. I appreciate you for coming, Jacki. And let me get all up in your business a little bit. I appreciate it. So you guys be sure to follow her and check her out. And we will see you guys next time right here, you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.